Hello, Scorpio family, and welcome to January 2021. In 2021, one of the first things I want to talk about here is that fixed signs are going to be working very intensively with the kind of change maker outer planets. We already started that journey with Uranus in Taurus, your opposing sign, and we are going to continue that journey with both Jupiter and Saturn in fixed signs. And what this means pretty much is that it's going to be hitting really essential pieces of our world and the way we interact with our world. I'm a Leo, so I have a lot of energy in Scorpio and Leo, actually. So for me, I'm going to be riding that fixed sign wave right along with you. And so January 2021, we're going to be getting used to the higher impact of fixed sign energy being highlighted so clearly at this time. And like I said, it's what I was about to say before I got distracted, is that this is energy that's going to be asking you how you move through the world, like how you build, create, how people, how you work, right? That kind of work identity, the work we do in the world, and then our relationships in the seventh house, right? Especially for you with the Uranus energy in Taurus, and also how we connect with our home environments, right? And our internal secret hidden world. And so those are really powerful places and lenses for us to understand ourselves more deeply. Now, specifically in January, we're working with a ton of fixed sign energy, and you all have a really interesting mix because we have Mars moving into Taurus on the 6th after 6 months in Aries. Wow. So Mars is going to be working with Taurus energy all month. We have Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. We have Uranus going direct in Taurus. So all of these things are happening. And as the month progresses, we're going to be moving more and more into Aquarian energy. Mercury moves into Aquarius later in the month and begins actually pretty early in the month, but then begins a retrograde at the very end of the month in Aquarius. So what does this all mean for you, right? Oh, and I didn't even mention there's a full moon in Leo. Another fixed sign. So all three of the other fixed signs besides you are getting lit up by something pretty significant in the month of January. What does that mean for you? Well, there's a ton of energy in Aquarius, which is going to be fourth house energy for you. So you're going to be really asked to go home to yourself and listen there. And going to those spaces that aren't about the public persona, that aren't about the way that you are seen in the external, that isn't about the short-term acquaintances or the work acquaintances or the people that you kind of know and they're nice, but they're not close to you. This is about intimacy within yourself. And that, to me, in January is the key to you unlocking, understanding your bigger vision of yourself, which will get hit into when we have that full moon in Leo, which will highlight that bigger legacy you want to build. But the general rule in this year, especially with Jupiter moving through Aquarius especially, but also Saturn, is that you are going to find the best magic coming from your hidden domestic worlds out. Your hidden moon world out. And I mean, this is not new skill sets. You guys are a water sign, and water signs obviously are the signs that work from the inside out, that work from the depths to the surface rather than the other way around, right? So this isn't a new skill set. This isn't some shocking revelation, but it is a reminder. And one of the things with January, it's electric energy in January, especially as we move through it, because initially we'll be still in Capricorn season. We'll have Venus and a new moon in Capricorn kind of keeping us grounded, kind of keeping us in energy that many of us have become familiar with over the last couple of years. But as we keep moving through the month, Uranus goes direct, the sun moves into Aquarius, Mercury goes retrograde in Aquarius, and we start to get more and more into the electrical energy. We're going to be finding we have kind of this desire for quickness, for movement, for answers, to get things done, to go, go, go. And it's a little sneaky because it's going to take some time It's going to take some time for us to be fully ready to move in the ways we think of as movement through the world. So January is important though, because the energetic work is extremely potent. And because I see your empowerment coming from the small domestic details, the Empress, relationships are highlighted this month too. Mars and Taurus, and so that's a really weird combo, but I think for Scorpio, this is actually great energy. Uranus going direct in Taurus is also electrifying. So I love Empress for you guys. That's so good. But, scanning over the details of your intimate life, and I don't mean like intimacy necessarily, just like those parts of yourself that aren't for anybody else or anybody that's outside of your very, very close circle, and just scanning over it, pausing and looking in the spaces that sometimes maybe you think are a negative space, right? There's nothing there, and then there's something there. This is a really great month to take your time to do that, and to nourish in as well. This is, even though there's an electrical crackling going on, for you all, there is an invitation for nourishment. There is an invitation for coming home to a sense of nourishment. The Sun, hello, Scorpio. These are such warm cards. I love it. I'm pulling 3 cards from my traditional deck here, and then I'm going to pull 1 from my Cosmic Tarot as our overarching intuitive message for the month, to give us a little bit of a different lens. 7 of Pentacles. Oh, that is a popular energy. January 2021 is a time to assess it for everyone and to get our sea legs in Aquarius energy. It depends on who you are. Some people obviously have a lot of Aquarian energy, so they're like, know how to do this. However, we haven't had a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction for 20 years, and we definitely haven't had one in Aquarius for a very long time. So this is a unique energy for everybody who is alive today. This is something that hasn't happened for a very, very long time. So it takes a little bit to just get ourselves acquainted with who we are. And a card fell on the floor. It is the 7 of Pentacles again. Okay, so remember how I was saying to scan the details, and that you can unlock huge life movements this month from the 4th house hidden moon energy. It's that countercultural practice, right? Of you start from a place that people would say, oh, that's not getting anything done. That's not really activating who you are. You're not being responsible and taking full action in your lives and pushing for things. Our culture often tells us that we need to be doing external action in order for there to be value. So this is that classic practice of, what if you look the other direction? So you look in, you look at the things that are intimate to you, and you make those adjustments there. What happens when that energetic mirroring goes to the physical, goes to the external, goes to how you act and move through the world? If what those actions are doing are mirroring, those actions are emanating from this internal space, they're going to be quite potent, right? So here's what's interesting. Empress and the Sun. We know that this represents Taurus and Leo, right? And we have a Leo full moon, and we have really big, bold, juicy, focused energy in Taurus this month. Your fellow fixed signs are talking to you. And it's a really great place to do some exploration over the course of January. Taurus and Leo are also signs that are associated with ease, abundance, grace, playfulness, childlike joy, creativity, and the softer spots in life, looking for the golden. They're very tied to these, and these cards speak to that. And so it's really interesting for me. As much as, you may be wanting to look for answers in the hard, harsh places. And I know, I'm definitely not sitting here not acknowledging that most of us have had something really hard happen in 2020, and some of us have had really horrible things happen in the last year. A lot of grief and a lot of loss. And it's important to sit with those feelings. It's extremely important to let ourselves be the full breadth of who we are, right? This experience is not to be a one-tone experience. That was never the goal. However, if you find that you're trying to look for your value, your worth, your okayness, your answers for what's next via what's wrong with you or the scary stories, these cards right here are telling me that you've got to look in some pockets of joy and warmth, whatever those are. They do not have to be complex. They do not have to be gigantic, but they are all around you, and they are probably surrounding you in your hidden life, right? In the life that isn't for the people who don't know you. That is for you and your closest people. There are things, there are joys, and there are abundances here. And, abundance, once again, too, that word gets used a lot. What is abundance? It's not having like the extra cars and the money. It's a feeling of safety in ourselves, right? It's that feeling like we can trust ourselves. That's abundance. And that is what I'm seeing here for you all. Look here. Look to these spaces. It's also telling me, these are big, big energies. It's also telling me this year that these are going to be themes and threads that you're going to be working with, not just in January, but moving forward. And while they may take a little bit of time to pick up speed, they're there. So those two cards, huge fan. Now it's really interesting that you got double Seven of Pentacles, and both of these decks show a man who is just really, he's a little worn out. He's been busy putting things in order, figuring it out, and he is just taking a moment, right? He doesn't want to do one more lift, one more shovel full of dirt. He just wants to take a pause. And you know how I was saying, the note that came to me when I was thinking about Scorpio energy was to scan. Take a scan, like a really detailed scan. And you can kind of do this as even a daily practice where you kind of just look around, notice how you feel when you do something that seems like a obvious thing in your daily routine. Notice how you feel. Is it working? Is it feeling, do you feel like a sense of sadness if you're doing it? And just taking stock of all those little details, because here's the thing, many of those really tiny details, we have the complete agency to change. We don't have to have a lot of money, time, or resources in order to change them, but we do have to have just like enough willingness to just take a scan of ourselves to figure it out and be curious about possible, so big, brilliant, bright solutions. And this beginning to the Saturn-Jupiter transits is going to be asking us, yes, eventually this is going to mount into really big, bold changes, but initially it wants us to start in detail. So this is a time of reflection. It's a really deep time of reflection, and it's a funny pair, right? Because Seven of Pentacles does reflect a certain level of exhaustion and burnout, and a certain level of just needing rest in the midst of a journey, right? Needing rest in the very middle of the whole big process. But you also have this fun, juicy, creative energy that is boiling out from you. And I think we don't have to boiling out from you. That's pretty scary, huh? Bubbling up from out of you. I don't think we have to choose between being exhausted and meditative and reflective, and even a little bit like we want to kind of just be with ourselves, and also feeling really expansive and joyful and buoyant and curious and free and creative and connective. I often think these two actually go very well together when we can find a way to transition between the two regularly. And you may be finding this month is a lot about that oscillation. I have a New Year blessing for you to take with you as you work with this energy. Like I said, it's a little heavier hitting in the fixed sign department anymore. Last year that was not the case. It was all about cardinal signs and their challenges, and now fixed signs are really being asked to really get honest and really get focused And so it's a new flavor, and we're all going to be working with it that have fixed sign energy strong in our charts. Here's your New Year blessing. May your intimate, hidden environments support you and help you to create and shine. May you be surrounded by deep, profound love and connection. May you trust your innate ability to connect to the unseen world as a way to move through the seen world. I think that's so important. For me, a Scorpio that shines is one that allows themselves to do their detailed scan, their detailed deep dive, and then that allows them to shine bright, right? You all are great at being sociable and funny and really good at connecting often. I mean, not all of you, right? Like, we're all different, but that really requires you to have that integrating time. Otherwise, it's burnout time. It's too much, right? So it's I think a reflection too of that innate process that you use and work with. I hope that this beginning to the new year treats you really well. I'm going to be doing my talks and conversations and discussions over on Patreon. We're going to be getting cozy this January and really feeling through this new energetic time, this new year, as we slowly but surely continue walking across this big bridge that we've been working on the last already year, and we head toward a new footing. So I would love to see you over there. I'll leave the link for that in my description box, as well as where you can find me on Instagram and my website, and where you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. So I'll leave all those links below. Have a beautiful and connected January, and I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you stick around, subscribe and like, and keep hanging out. Talk to you very soon.